we got a lot of cleanup to do after what all happened last time.
You know what Erdemir's going to do? He's going to take like 3 of the bandages he has and hand it to him. And then go, there's my help.
Welcome to Dungeon Brew.
Welcome back, everybody, to Dungeon Brew. This is episode 7 of the 9th Ascension as we come back to our party that has successfully defended 𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐤 from the Vucari siege. We had quite a battle last time with them fighting off 2 dragons as well as a number of Vucari that had gotten into the city that were attacking citizens and that were sieging against the walls. And so now we are coming into the aftermath of that. Now, if you've been following with us, there was a lot of events that took place in episode 5 that has kind of been put on hold as the town was attacked. And hopefully our heroes are ready to respond to the mess that was kind of left waiting for them before the battle took place. So we are going to begin the morning after the siege. The town has gotten together. The dragon is still, that you guys had killed, the gold dragon is still dead outside of the city walls. There's bodies everywhere from the Vucari. Most of the Stygians have been gathered and pulled together and lined up for loved ones to kind of find individuals and identify them and prepare them to be burnt off, as is the custom for Stygians for their dead. But the majority of citizens are gathering around the outside of the Archon's homestead, where he is preparing to make a speech. And you two are heading your way to listen to his speech prior to starting your day. And everyone is in attendance to this. You're seeing members of the 9th Council roaming about. Your parents are there. The full Carrion Council is there. What is remaining of the army is there. Domard, your voivode, is there as well. Mihail. You just see really everyone coming and flocking to hear the words of the Archon.
I thought Domard had died in the battle.
Domard died.
He did.
Oh, I thought for some reason Jarek died.
No, it was Domard.
Domard died because he was covering for other people.
He brought, unfortunately, Mihail brought his fave to that fight and didn't end well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
that is
and-
correct.
I do want to,
He
I guess,
fought
clarify something.
Mhm.
Since, and correct me if I'm wrong, I lived at the same place where, like, those artifacts and stuff were kept, right? Or do I live elsewhere?
You live elsewhere.
Elsewhere, okay.
Yeah, you guys don't live in the temple.
Okay. I guess, because it's going to come up, and I feel like as somebody who's, since we all go there, we would have at least brought up the fact that it was broken into. I'm aware it's the next day, but
Like,
I
has
guess-
there been enough time for us to go back and notice that yet?
I guess that's my question, right? I mean, it's the next day. We rested, clearly, right? I feel like it's really odd if it was broken into, but we don't report it first, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I want some clarification so I can make sure that, you know, we're doing that right.
Well, you probably should take an inventory of everything that was stolen for the insurance.
Right. Exactly. Yes.
So the battle had ended, I want to say somewhat later in the afternoon, closer to evening. So I guess the question is after the battle, did you guys go back to the Carrion Council, to the Carrion Council, to the Temple of Marhina, and start engaging in that process? Or did you guys help with, like, pulling dead bodies off the battlefield, checking people's injuries?
I mean, Eretmir and I went there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's been, we had a break. But I thought we went there and we gave the report.
That was before the battle.
That was before
That
the
was
battle.
before.
That was
After
before the
killing,
battle. Thank you.
Yeah.
Man.
So where was your daughter and your mother?
With the Carrion Council, so I would have gone there.
Which is where?
In the temple.
They were
Which
in
is
the
where
temple.
my mom is. So, yes, we would have gone, like, after the initial... I guess I feel like after the initial attack and everybody's okay and the city's clear, checking on loved ones,
Right.
with the exception of Dawn, would have been paramount, right? His daughter being probably would have been paramount, but so I feel like we would have been there before we went to bed.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I'm curious, is because technically before the battle, Eretmir and I had gone and we hadn't noticed that it was broken into because it was on the second floor.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
I'm not sure if it's something that we noticed. I mean, obviously, 𝐸 would be aware of it, so...
And I guess that's what I'm asking, right?
𝐸, did you notice that you broke in?
I feel like 𝐸 would have noticed, right? Given that's his job.
Right.
Is these items, which is on the first floor.
Second floor.
Second floor.
Yeah, let's be honest here. How well do you do your job? You don't even know what floor you're working on.
What floor it's on. Jesus.
So
You wander around the first floor and you're like, why am I always being told I'm late for work?
None of the artifacts are here.
Damn it! I took everything.
my question for you, 𝐸, because I'm okay with making the allowance that yes, either in the in the immediacy after the battle, or even later in the evening, or even if you were kind of getting things rather in the morning, as before you guys start fanning out to the city, to knowing that the 𝐸 is going to give a speech, and you do notice that it's been broken into, what action would you take? What action would you like to take?
So, first thing 𝐸 would have done is taken note of what items were taken,
Mm-hmm.
and then immediately reported it to the 𝐸, because that's who the items technically belong to.
So
That's what 𝐸 would have done.
So the challenge with that is that I don't know if the 𝐸 would be available to essentially meet with you this close after the end of the battle.
Or whomever, right? I would have. I feel like in that instance,
Mm-hmm.
𝐸 knows what happened. He's damn well aware.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of, in order to attempt to not get his head chopped off, he would have gone, shit, this is what I need to do. Whether the 𝐸's available or not, it would have, he has.
Would he report it to the Carrying Council, like to his mother, as though he is unaware of what has happened or what's going on?
Is that protocol? Would he? I guess I don't know the hierarchy of that.
Well, essentially, they're in possession of the Carrying Council, and you're responsible for keeping them safe within the scope of the Carrying Council. So you could go directly to the 𝐸.
If that's the case, then yeah, the Carrying Council, and since I'm a custodian essentially.
Okay, so roll me a wisdom check in you delivering this information to them to see if they just accept your retelling of these things being taken. And with a critical.
Damn!
Yeah.
Oh,
Good way to start
it's a
the
good
night.
sign,
First
guys.
critical.
Welcome back.
Oh.
it's a good
All right.
sign.
Oh, we're so screwed tonight.
Yep.
So yeah, we will say that
Yeah, we're totally dead.
you essentially took the information of it being broken into, the 4 items that were missing, and reported this to the Carrying Council very successfully. They took in the information and said, as soon as we get a chance, we'll pass this on to the 𝐸 and make sure that he's aware of these being robbed during the course of the attack.
That's all. That's good enough.
All right, perfect. Okay, so with that being said, we will now transition back to the morning of, as you guys are gathering with everybody else here in front of the 𝐸's home. Eventually, the 𝐸 will come forward to speak to everyone. So 𝐸 Lazar Benjamin will step up and he will give his speech. My loyal subjects, today we stand amidst the triumph of our dominance and the sweet taste of victory. Our streets run red with the blood of our enemies, for it is a testament to our power and to our relentless ambition. In the wake of battle, let us not mourn the fallen, but instead celebrate their sacrifice in the name of Wolos, of whom we surely have gained favor. The horned god brought us triumph, his whispers that have guided our minds and our blades to victory, and his insatiable desire to protect his true children drives us ever forward. However, in the night hours, it has been clear to me why we have suffered the casualties that will haunt so many of you in these coming days. The unsanctified walk in the city, Suhians, whose blood remains foul and unworthy, poisoned by the frozen witch, is tormenting us. In the days to come, the true children of Volos will be identified, and those who stand apart will be banished from our city. I will make further announcements after tomorrow's prayers. Until then, bless the Ninth Council who raise our banners high in the praise of Volos. Through their shared leadership, they grant us the strength to crush our foes and bend the world to our will. Hail Volos, and long live 𝐿eyrhain. And so with that, he will step down, sharing this notice that he will soon be making announcements of the people that will be banished from the city for not fully following in suit of worshiping Volos. And as you guys stand there and take in this information, Hale, you'll notice Jarek within the crowd gesturing to you on one end, and Dorothy gesturing to Eretmir and the lot of you at another end.
What kind of gesture is Jarek making?
He's flipping you off.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
He's hailing you, essentially like he's coming your way in order to come closer to him.
Why did we go to help the Archon again? In
Religious
that battle?
persecution, man. That's the name of the game, apparently.
Next time we're gonna let his fountain get destroyed.
Right?
Yeah, the insanity of
Screw
that
that guy and his
announcement
marble.
is a little bit mind-boggling.
Yeah, very much so. Anyway.
Yeah, let Mahale make a decision about who he loves more.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to go talk to Jarek first.
Okay.
And is the other guy waving like at me?
He is. Dorothy's waving towards you and everybody else, but he seems to be
I'll
primarily
put
focused on you.
a pause finger to Dorothy and move towards Jarek.
So you put your father on hold
Mhm.
and
Yes.
move towards your food.
I guess we'll go talk to his dad. I don't know.
Yeah.
𝐿_𝐤𝐿's just kind of standing there dumbfounded, like. Okay.
All right, Mahale, you'll come up to Jarek. So he will approach you. His hair is disheveled. He was already injured from being out before, if you recall, when you had sent him up north. So he's looking a little rough for wear. His long red hair is ragged. His beard is disheveled. His clothes are cut. He seems to have a couple of new wounds that he is carrying, but he is still holding himself up tall. And he goes, Sir Mahale, I just wanted to give you a quick recount of our losses, and also a message to share with you. The remaining army that resides here in the 𝐿eyrhain after those that have been slaughtered is 20 bowmen, 15 axemen, 10 swordsmen, and that is all that we have recovered so far. The loss of military members is, at least from those that have been back from the fields, is 20 bowmen, 22 axemen, 5 swordsmen, and of course, your fellow voivode. There appears to have also been 21 casualties among the people, which could have been greater if it weren't for the efforts of our army and the citizens defending against the Vukhari. And with that being said, Sir 𝐥𝐤𝐿𝐤, your uncle, he's asked for you to find him before the day is finished to speak of some matter regarding Gabriella Marinov. And he's going to kind of raise an eyebrow at you and question.
Hold on. That's the lady we found out in the forest, right?
Yes.
And you cut the head off.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, that is the wife of Sir Goran Marinov.
He was a traitor.
Yeah.
Still should have brought her back alive.
Doesn't matter now.
You got there.
All right. So I'm gonna need to make a comment on Jarek's clothes coming out in public like this, you should look presentable as an officer. I expect better from you, regardless of the battle. Next time, go home and change. Second,
he's gonna kind of clear his throat. My apologies, Sir Mahale. I did not have the luxury of sleeping last night. I've been out pulling bodies in, but noted.
I didn't say anything about sleeping.
Well, not all of them. No, never mind.
The numbers that he listed, is that both what's left of my soldiers and Sir Goran soldiers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And how much is that compared to what we started with? Are we like third of what we started?
You lost a third of Sir Goran's, or about a third of your full army, due to Gabriella's sacrifice of your people, and then you lost about another third in the battle to Vucari. So you guys are running probably about 33% strong of what your full army was a handful of days ago.
Okay. And still only 20 civilians died. That is impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Well done to the soldiers there. I'll have to speak to Surtur God damn it, I can never say his name. Gavrail. I'll have to speak to Gavrail about what we can do to recoup those numbers. And as for what he wishes to speak to me about, that is between me and him. If I have anything to inform you about, you will be I will let you know. Jesus, can't talk tonight.
Look at you invoking the name of the Nazarene. Okay, so he will. He'll again dip his head. He while he's usually a bit bitter, he seems to be too tired to even raise an argument or to be as snippy as he might be. It could be the weight of losing so many, but he just dips his head. He goes, "As you will, Sir Caligula."
So he's usually more snippy than that because he was talking a lot of shit. Tyrion and Drast would
Yeah.
have wrecked his day.
They absolutely would have.
I'm almost about to hit him.
Well, he didn't say anything about you having the luxury of sleeping last night while he worked.
Yeah, well, it is a long day for everybody. I'll give him that one. Out of character, who would be in charge of picking out new lists for voivodes?
That would be you.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right.
You just choose who you want your voivodes to be.
I would like Jarek to come up with some candidates for possible replacements.
Okay.
Just so you know who not to pick.
We'll see.
I don't like you. I don't like your attitude. But could you get some other people to maybe be
Well,
in position with you?
And in reflection of that, I mean, you essentially had 3 voivodes covering the full of your army between Gabriella and your 2 voivodes, and now you have 2/3 of your army dead and 1 voivode left.
Yeah.
So putting additional people into that position, you might need the armies for them to command first, or the companies, which means
Well, I
you'll
think
need
a
to go.
third of the militia under Jarek might be a bit much.
Yeah, well, all of the militia at this point. But you guys are going to have to do some major recruiting to bring in additional armies and train them.
Yeah, I figure that's something Gavrail will want to talk about.
That should be pretty easy, considering that the Archon just announced that he was going to banish a chunk of the population.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
wasn't it
there
like a
goes
town of?
Sir.
This is a town of like what, 200, 300 people?
500, I thought. 2,000.
Or 500?
Yeah.
Okay. And we've lost like how many soldiers? And 20 some people, so like a fifth of the population just died in this battle, and now we're still gonna kick a whole bunch out.
I mean, if there's less people to defend, you need less defenders, right?
And you don't have to dig as many graves when it's over either.
That's true. All right. I'll dismiss Jarek after that point, tell him to get some rest, and then move over to the rest of the party.
All right, so the rest of the party at this point, I'm guessing, has been approaching Dorothy?
Yeah.
All right, so Dorothy is first going to address Eretmir, softly spoken. My friend, Master Ispellini, no one has yet set to the dragon that was felled outside of the city walls. If you could make haste and bring it to the Caligula stables at the Caligula courtyard as quickly as possible, we will be meeting you there shortly. With you being the only one able to touch its skin and having the strength to take it that distance, it would be greatly appreciated. But we need it for us to be successful. Yes.
Okay, hold on a second. This dragon was like what, 60 feet long or something?
I thought it was like
I think
40,
No, it
40
was
or
like
50.
20 foot long.
Or 20 foot long? Okay, 20 foot.
It was a large dragon.
It's between
Okay.
25 and 40. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I'm just supposed to like heap this over my shoulder and bring it back?
There are some carts near the front gates if you need to utilize one.
Okay.
But I imagine you have the strength to grab it by its tail and pull it to distance.
All right,
I
we'll give
don't
this a
think
try.
that's the issue.
All right. I guess Eretmir will just shrug and be like, "All right, see y'all later."
I've got some bandages
God.
for you when you return.
I mean, Eretmir is at least glad this isn't one of the parents coming up to ask if their kid's a traitor. I was about ready to say, "No, your kid's not a traitor." All right, Eretmir will shrug his shoulders and walk off. And he will pull out, because he did take some of the wine out of our party sheet. He will pull out a bottle and maybe take a sip.
Just start drinking it.
Yep.
It's going to be a long day. All right, so Eretmir, if you want, just roll me a couple of checks as the rest of the group is chatting. Determine on how you want to, if you want to move it by the cart, that's fine, or if you want to drag it, either way, on how you want to get it to the stables.
You know, he'll probably try to do it on his own at first and, flex his muscles for the ladies, I guess.
Okay. As for the rest of the group, Dorothy will say, we have to make haste in doing what we can to take what is needed from this dragon before anyone lays claim to it. If Eretmir is pulling it to the stables, I say we move in that direction now. I will need the three of you to do what needs to be done.
What needs to be done?
He's going to kind of eye around the area a little bit and then quickly cast magic around you guys in order to protect you from overhearing ears and say, its skin needs to be used for the vellum, for the Varkalok. We must prepare it in order for Eretmir to skin it.
Yeah, I think we knew that, but we can't.
Does
touch
anyone
it.
have the materials to prepare it?
I have the tools already waiting in the stables. I got up early this morning and arranged them, but I will need assistance in preparing the body. You will not be touching it.
Well, maybe start with that next time.
Yeah. 𝐸𝐸 just lead the way. 𝐸𝐸's just gonna go with it.
I don't know how many rolls you wanted, but one I did great on, two not so great,
Yeah,
and one of them, yeah.
Yeah, with the 24, you're just immediately grab that tail and just start jerking it through the streets. You get a lot of weird looks. You doesn't really take any effort to cover it up or to hide it, which is hard to hide anyway. As you're just marching through the streets, dragging a 3-headed gold dragon over your shoulder. It gets a little bit heavier to move as you're trying to navigate around people, and you start seeing its two hands backing out so that they don't touch the skin because it's dangerous to them, it's lethal to them, and they start stumbling out of the way into either direction as you're trying to maneuver through them, which gives you a little bit of a hiccup. But you eventually, with your 13, are able to pull it the rest of the way through them. And you hear like under people's breaths, like them just being like, these Ispalini are so weird. Like, what in the world does he want with this dragon? Like, and like just like muttering under their breaths as you're just like marching through, like you're claiming your prize after the battle.
It's gonna make
and he would have been when he saw people like staring at him. He would have been like, "Hey, how you doing?"
How's it
Totally
going?
casual.
Nothing to see here. Move on.
So if everybody is good, then the rest of the group will move with Dorothy towards the Caligula stables. As you guys come into it, he's going to ask you guys to essentially move in a semicircle around him to be prepared. There is a bowl that is in the stables with you, as well as a silver tray. And on that silver tray, you see that there is a silver goblet. There is a budding flower. There are a couple of fangs from some type of serpent. There is a small compound of black earth. And there's also a clay mug that is filled with clear water. And he has it sitting off to the side. And shortly after, you'll have 𝐿demir that will come in with the dragon. And he'll ask for Sir Mihail to close the doors to the stable behind so that nobody lays witness to what is going to partake. And then he will also look to 𝐿demir and say, "Stay you can, Master Ispalini, but speak of what happens here, you mustn't."
All right.
All right, and we are going to begin with everyone rolling a wisdom after Mihail closes those doors.
Oh, shit.
One question: are they going to be using all of the skin of the dragon, or just some of it?
Probably just some of it. They're not going to need all of it.
It's a big dragon. I make a big book.
It would be a very big book.
𝐿demir would just like to maybe have some of the skin.
Okay. So what is going to occur here is, 𝐿demir, you're going to be standing in the corner, and you also have a wisdom check to roll as well. You're going to be standing in the corner, 𝐿demir, as you watch the forest Styuhians engage in this ritual that is led by Dorothy. In the beginning of it, you're very astute. Like, you're watching intently at what is happening with your 22 roll, watching how everyone is responding and acting. Immediately, you see 𝐥𝐿's eyes glaze over, almost turning completely white, like they're rolling to the back of his head. Dawn and Sir Mihail are also witness to this as Dorothy starts chanting. And 𝐥𝐿 is a little like dazed. So 𝐥𝐿, you don't know what's happening at this moment. Like, you're just dazed, like staring off, like you're hearing a voice off in the distance. Dorothy will speak out loud to those that are able to pay attention. He goes, "You may at a time hear Marhina speak through you. Be afraid, you should not." And with that, he is going to direct Dawn to move forward towards the bull and chop off the testicles using a thigh bone knife that's made from a dragon. A bone knife from the thigh that's made from a dragon. He's going to hand it to you and ask you to go chop off the bull's testicles. And you will see that the bull's eyes are glazed over in the same way as 𝐥𝐿's eyes.
Okay, sorry, bull. I, for some reason, was thinking dragon testicles, and I was like, I think that they have a cloaca.
No.
You gotta go digging.
This is the large bull that is also in there with you.
Cool, yeah, I'm on it.
𝐥𝐿, you better be crossing your legs because you're doing the same thing as the bull. So
I'm not here. So
Yeah, I just want to point out, I don't think Mihail is either, because I failed my check.
Yeah, Mihail failed.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, Mihail also.
Yeah, it's a
failed.
secondary for me.
Okay.
Yeah, so
you guys
Mihail,
are all losing your testicles.
Yeah, so Mihail, you're also glazed over. So yeah, 𝐥𝐿 and Mihail are glazed out, and Dawn is being asked to go chop off the testicles of the bull.
Okay, do you need a check for that, or am I successful in testicle chopping?
finding the bull's balls.
You will be successful in
Okay.
chopping them off. So you will come back holding the testicles in your hand, finding your space in the circle again, and once more, everyone will need a wisdom check.
Someone got left holding the balls.
I'm gonna get possessed by a dragon. Like, he's failing these checks.
Meanwhile, Eretmir is just like hanging out in the corner.
I know.
It's fine.
And suddenly, 𝐸, you're going to come to, kind of being aware of what's happening. You're going to see Dawn standing near you, holding testicles of a bull.
Hey,
That's normal.
Eretmir, you are still fully watching what's happening. Mihail, at this time, you are unaware of what's going on still. Like, you still don't really know what's happening. But 𝐸, you will be instructed to take the black earth that is on the silver tray and go and essentially dump it on the middle head of the dragon.
I'll do so.
All right, so you go and do the second step of this ritual. Again, Mihail is not fully aware of what's going on at this point, but Eretmir and Dawn have seen it in its fullness so far. Once again, let's roll another wisdom check.
Eretmir is really grateful he likes to watch.
oh no!
I'm just gonna wake up outside of the stables.
And at this time, it is Eretmir and 𝐸 who are fully aware, while Mihail and Dawn are not. Let's see. 𝐸, you put the dirt on top of the head, so it'll actually be Mihail now. You'll be moving without notice of what you're doing forward, and you will cut the budding flower with the knife that has somehow found its way to your hand from Dawn's. So you take it from him without his awareness, and you go and cut the budding flower and place that on top of the dirt on the dragon's head. Let's roll another wisdom check. I love how Eretmir is seeing all of this as the outsider.
Son of a gun.
Still a failure.
Still in it.
Oh no! I actually made.
You made it, bud.
I don't know.
shit.
You are Eretmir. You're not in that one. That's a secondary for you. So you had to have an 18. Yeah,
I'd have an 18? Oh.
Yeah, for your secondary. So Eretmir fails this one. Dawn fails this one. Mihail suddenly becomes aware of what's going on for the first time, seeing bloodied bulls in one of their hands, the dirt on the head, the flower on the head. 𝐸 is also aware at this time. Dawn, you are, again, being unaware of what's going on. You're going to go and carefully pick up the two snake fangs in a daze and stab them in each one of the testicles that 𝐸, or no, you're actually holding the testicles still, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. So you
Put the dagger in your mouth.
Yeah. So you will go and you'll put the snake fangs in either one of the testicles, while 𝐸 and Mihail watch this, and then you will go put them on top of the dirt pile with the budding flower on top of the dragon's head.
I'm doing all of that.
You are. You do all of that just in a complete daze.
How am I juggling the balls while I'm?
Well, I imagine you sit one down.
Magic.
Actually, I feel like you should describe that. You know, this is theater of the mind. You're going to have to describe that for us.
Yeah.
Let it. And then I just throw them up. And then
At this point, I need another wisdom.
There we
I'm
go.
back!
Yeah.
Hey, did we all make it?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we're all
I
good.
made it that time. Look at us go.
So this is actually an awareness of the clay mug with water. You guys are going to see that the water is actually starting to descend down out of the clay mug that's on there, as though it's being taken somewhere, just by its own, like it's evaporating from the mug that it's in.
Man, that's all I'm awake for?
All right.
Does the dirt get moist?
Not yet. No. Roll me another wisdom.
Moist.
Oh man,
All right.
I'm not alive for the last round
What the
or
hell
awake
are
or
these
whatever.
rolls, Todd?
I don't know.
Well, you throw enough of them.
All
I
right.
got two criticals in a row, so.
His worst roll's been a 12.
So let's see. With this one in 𝐸 Mihail, you're the only one that, and Eretmir makes this, but 𝐸 and Dawn, you guys are both going to expend one
Dawn
mana.
is out.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So 𝐸, you guys are out. You guys both expend one mana, and you catch the testicles on fire on top of the dragon's head.
Okay.
You guys both cast magic and use your own energy with fire in order to cast it along with the dirt.
You know, if he had just dropped off the fire part, that really would have been awkward about using one mana to catch a testicle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, one more wisdom check.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm awake for that.
Nah, I'm out. I zone out again.
Very good. This one, I think, will be coming back to Sir Mihail. You will walk over in a daze, picking up the silver chalice. You can see that this is not the clay mug that had water on it. This is the empty chalice that was on there. You see it starting to fill up with blood, and you are going to bring that over to Dorothy and offer it to him. And so he is going to have that in front of him. Now I need intelligence checks.
Well, that's no bueno. Okay, maybe it's bueno.
Yeah, that one's fine.
It'll be Don who will involuntarily speak at this moment. Marhina's voice will come through him as like a
succeeded.
He made his check.
Oh, who am I missing?
I didn't.
Aaramir didn't. No, then Don, you get to choose if you want to let Marhina speak through you.
If I want to let her? No.
Mm-hmm. No. All right, so 𝐤𝐤𝐤, do you want her to speak through you?
Yeah, 𝐤𝐤𝐤 definitely would.
All right, so you have this guttural death rattle come through you. You go, drink! And Dorothy will pick up the chalice and drink the first piece of blood out of the top of the chalice. Let's roll another intelligence. Oh my gosh, look at those rolls. Aaramir did not make it, but it looks like 𝐤𝐤𝐤 did, Don did, and Mihail did. Mihail, you have the choice to let Marhina speak through you or not.
Sure.
All right. Again, the guttural will come through it. You will command Dorothy to drink, and he will take another drink out of the chalice. Let's roll another intelligence.
Are you sure this isn't some bizarre drinking game?
It absolutely is.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, look at those rolls.
Poor Aaramir.
Yeah, I know.
Sir Mihail, you are going to be asked to pick up what is left of the water in the cup on the ground and put it over the top of the fire.
Okay. I will do so.
All right. And then, Don, you're going to have the opportunity to let Marhina speak to you again.
Nope.
All right. 𝐤𝐤𝐤, it'll pass to you.
Yep, he'll let her.
All right. Again, you'll have this drink come out of your throat, and Dorothy will drink once more. Another intelligence check.
Hey! Woo!
Oh, very good. All right. You guys all will have the chance in unison to have Marhina speak through you.
Done it thus far. 𝐤𝐤𝐤's not stopping it.
Don will decline if he can.
You have the option to. But I will say that Aaramir at this time feels it pull on him as well.
Well, Aaramir will, he'll let her.
I think Mihail's going to keep his recognizance on this one.
All right, so two of you speak it, the loud guttural voice. The cup seems to keep flowing and flowing and flowing with blood. It's now running over the top, and Dorothy is gulping it. Let's roll another intelligence check.
Oh,
Didn't
God.
make that one.
And there goes
Marhina wasn't happy with me.
all of it failed.
All right, at this time, Aaramir, you will pick up your axe, and you will slaughter the dragon's head, cutting it off fully with a single swing. Don, you will find your way to recover the bone knife, and you will slaughter the bull by slitting its neck. So the bull will collapse to the ground, blood will flow out of it across the floor of the stable, across you guys' feet. You will also have the dragon spurting blood across the lot of you, across the stable, pooling at your feet as well. The cup in Dorothy's hand is continuously overflowing as he is chugging at this time. And 𝐤𝐤𝐤, you have the opportunity to cry out for him to drink.
Yeah.
And he will continue to drink from the cup until it is emptied and no longer overflowing, and you will all be pulled out of the trance-like state that you are in, awakening to this state of the stable with blood everywhere, the bull dead, the dragon beheaded, the material's gone, blood is dripping off of Dorothy's face and down his shirt, and you guys are pretty well decorated in it yourselves and standing in what has occurred within the stables.
So Don will turn to Dorothy and say, "This was not why you had called us here." It's not the way you told us we were coming.
Ugh.
We came here
What
to
ha-
skin the dragon.
And it still needs to be skinned, yes? 𝐿𝐷𝐷, whenever you're ready. Peeling the skin back should not prove too much trouble. It's been weakened. But done it is, and he will use Void to pull the blade that was used, the bone knife, to his hand, and he'll offer it to Mihail. And he'll say, "Cut your forearm, son, and let us see what has been gained."
All right.
Would this have been anything that like 𝐿𝐷𝐷 would have experienced with his people, or was this like 𝐾𝐤𝐤𝐞?
It's 𝐾𝐤𝐤𝐞. You've never seen anything like this.
This is some
before.
𝐸𝐴Hian blood magic.
Okay. 𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐷 just like, so I'm just supposed to start skinning?
Yeah, he's just like, go after it. Like, cut it as well as you can so we can preserve it and dry it out and use it for vellum. But he's going to say, skin the dragon as best as you can.
All right. You want me to do a roll for that, or am I?
Yeah, no, you can do this with your ability. You won't have to skinning it. And for Mihail, so you pick up the knife, you're going to be able to cut your forearm.
Yeah, just back of the arm.
Immediately it will split the skin open. You'll see that it will bleed. And you'll see 𝐷𝐷𝐷 come up to you and put his hands over your arm, much like you've seen 𝐸𝐵𝐷 do with injuries in the past. And your skin will stitch itself back together and heal fully, which is shocking to you, knowing that your family primarily uses void magic and not sacred.
Dawn is going to
does 𝐸𝐷𝐷 age when he does that?
He does age slightly, yes.
Dawn is going to use sea magic to remove the blood from himself and cleanse himself, and then he is going to touch the bowl to suck it off and regain the mana that he expended during the ritual, and then he is going to leave.
Okay. 𝐸𝐷𝐷's eyes kind of flash an icy blue as you march your way out of the stables. But he will say, "What has been done needed to be done in order to preserve the Caligula bloodline, and to make sure that I have what it takes in order to finish the creation of the 𝐸𝐷𝐷𝐿.
Was this really necessary for the 𝐸𝐷𝐷𝐿, or was it for you?
Well, there is no deed that is truly done that does not have some sense of selfishness into it. I mean, we are 𝐸𝐴Hian. But 𝐸𝐴Hian demanded it.
And what are we supposed to do with... And Mihail's just going to gesture to the stable.
Can we eat it?
Like, this is a goddamn mess.
Well, 𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐷 will need to spend as much time as he can in cleaning up this dragon and getting it skinned for us. But I suppose we can find someone, perhaps in your army, to come and clean out the stable.
Given the state of affairs and the Archon's most recent address, I don't know how smart it is to bring outsiders in to clean up a mutilated dragon ritual.
Well, roll me a charisma, Mihail. Oh, with a 25 roll. Dwarf will say, "You are wise, my son." Then with a flip of his hand, he will use magic and clean up the blood and cleanse it. You will see the bull and even the dragon have the blood seep back into them in either direction, and everything suddenly become cleansed as though he's using air and water to maneuver everything around where it goes again. You see him age somewhat significantly. As we had said before, he was actually somewhat younger than you in his appearance up to this time, despite his age. So you start to see hair growing on his chin, on his cheeks. There's a little bit of gray in it as he quickly uses the power. And he says, "I need to spend time savoring what I can," after he finishes, in order to create the 𝐸𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐿, so I may pass it on to you, Mihail. And then after that time, given the Archon's speech, it'll be important for me to leave 𝐸𝐴Hian, and you will have to stay back here and honor our family's name in whatever way that you can.
You understand that may end up causing me to tie the name of Caligula to Volos.
I
You want
do
me to stay
understand.
within the city.
It is important for you to hold the name here as best as you can, which means that you must win over your uncle's favor.
I believe that's something I can do.
While always keeping the 𝐥𝐤𝐤𝐞 secret.
As he's done talking, 𝐤𝐤𝐤's just going to interject. Well, you've signed your own death warrant. Picking up secret. Congratulations. And he walks out.
All right.
Erdemir's just gonna be over there talking to himself like, I better get something more than some damn bandages for this.
I'll get you a couple kegs.
All right. So I imagine Eramir's doing a little bit of work there, working on the dragon and skinning it. You're not going to have much difficulty there. Mihail, you may spend a little bit of time speaking with your father in the stables. Don, you have a head start as you've exited from the stables. 𝐤𝐤𝐤 is not too far behind you. And as you are walking down the streets, I assume heading back towards the Temple of Marhina to possibly check on your daughter, you will see 𝐤𝐤𝐤's mother frantically moving throughout the streets. And you will also see the Surtur, Caligula, Mihail's uncle, also moving through the streets as though they are both searching for someone or something. And it won't be long before 𝐤𝐤𝐤 is following behind you to be able to see the same event, but you have first reaction here.
Am I, just real quick, I want to clarify before I get too far out. When he cleaned up all the blood, am I clean now or am I covered in blood?
He cleaned you guys as well.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't have to waste magic to do that then.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about. It's kind of
I know, right?
How he did
I'm
it.
good.
I don't know. I don't know that Don cares. He's kind of pissed. And
Tell us a little bit about you being pissed, Don. What are you most pissed about in this scenario?
Being brought in and not being told what was going on for the ritual, and then being involuntarily brought into the ritual and having my my control taken from me during the course of that ritual. As Don is a very controlling and self-reserved type individual, and he did not appreciate having all of his faculties domineered for even short periods of time. So he's very annoyed that Dorothy was not clear about what the intent of what was going on there was, and so he's kind of, he also, given the shadiness of what he was doing, he gets the impression that the rest of the Carian Council is not aware of it, and so his intent is to go find his mother actually and tell her what had occurred within the stables and see what her reaction is. He's concerned about his daughter, but he's more concerned with what other things the Carian Council is doing that they are not telling us, and they're using us as their lackeys.
Roll me a wisdom as well there, Don.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, an 18 does meet your check for your wisdom. So one of the things that is coming to light to you as well in listening to the Archon's speech and what you've gathered throughout this past week of information being shared is that those among the Ninth Council, of which have no members on their body that have profane magic, means that profane magic users are probably going to be primarily targeted and banished from the city.
Yeah,
so
which Dawn has been acutely aware of since the outset of this, I think.
Yeah, and this is kind of coming even more into play, probably, that you're seeing that folks are starting to look out for themselves and taking directions to protect their own while you're still functioning somewhat as a lackey.
Yep. So, yeah, he sees the Surtur and he sees 𝐤𝐤𝐤's mother, and he kind of probably has a little bit of hitch in his step as he clocks them as he's walking through, and then kind of just resolves himself and moves past them.
Okay. You will have 𝐤𝐤𝐤's mother call out to you as you're passing by. Do you respond to her at all, or do you just book it right on by?
If I don't if I'm like not making eye contact with her, and I don't like, it's kind of like catching the eye of somebody across the room. And you're like, oh shit, they saw me. Then he'll pause. But if he
Start the battle.
But if he like if she's like to the side or behind him, and he can pretend that he doesn't hear her, he will move on.
Yeah, you'll have the ability to pretend that you do not hear her.
Yeah.
So Roselia will call out, Dawn! And you just keep on booking it towards the temple.
Yeah. So just like lost in thought, marching on, does not even twitch if he can avoid the eye contact.
Okay. So 𝐸𝐸, you're up next. You're coming down the streets again, seeing the same scene of the Surtur moving in one space and your mother moving in the other.
Okay. Does my mom have the same like look on her face like every time I get that lecture about not having kids, or is it something else?
she's looking for her grandchildren. That's
because that's the last thing 𝐸𝐸 wants this morning.
Has he burned them yet?
Obviously, you have him stashed somewhere.
Who's alive that can make a child with you?
Your discernment will let you know that she looks rather panicked.
Then I'll approach her.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So in your approach, she's going to wide-eyed quickly come across you, kind of grabbing the front of her skirts to move quicker in your direction. Son, where have you been? Why are none of you at the temple?
Was I supposed to be at the temple?
Well, not to say necessarily, but members of the Ninth are inquiring about the artifacts, and they're looking to question you and the others as well as ourselves. I shared with them what you shared with us, and they wanted to hear it from you directly.
Well, I can't attest to where the others are, but I'm here.
Well, it's Marcel, Drahomira, and Varga that are upstairs right now. They are packing up whatever is left in the ferretery, and they want a full inventory and want to know what pieces are missing. Again, we told them what was taken during the raid. I feel like you should take somebody with you who may be able to support your statements.
I'm sure Don is near there, or with his daughter. Mihail is, well, doing his job. We've lost a lot of soldiers. He lost the voivode. So, let's hope Don's there.
I did see Don moving in that direction. I hope that we can catch him. I did not expect them to move this quickly, but I am afraid there will be nothing left at the ferretery after this day.
Well, Mother, it won't matter come a few days from now anyway. The Archon's throwing everybody out.
Well, it may mean that we will have to bend our allegiance to keep some sense of power within the city.
Some might, yes.
I mean you and I specifically. The Amaria name has to remain within Leerheim.
Mother, I think you put too much stock in a name and not your chosen worship, your true God. And I walk off. I head towards the temple.
And you will hear her shuffling, kicking up dirt, trying to stay caught up with you, while trying to convince you, while watching the streets at the same time, mumbling about, no, it's not that, 𝐸𝐸, it's not that.
I'm pretty much ignoring her at this point.
Okay.
Seems like everything's going to shit today.
All right, so with nobody intervening with Surtur Caligula, he is on his way to the Caligula courtyard to look for Mihail.
I guess if I saw him on the way, I'd stop him. I assume he's looking for me anyway.
He's moving a little bit further off from where your mother was at. So if you wanted to venture off to cut him off, you certainly could with your mother.
I mean, I'm going to assume, without any assumption, I'm going to assume he's looking for me, or us, rather, about what has transpired at the temple, so I'll just approach him. 𝐸𝐸's going to get it out of the way.
All right, so you approach Sir
Piss everyone
Gabriel.
off.
Yeah, fuck it. I mean, yeah.
Game over, man. All right, so you you beeline towards him with your mother at your heels. Are you engaging in the conversation first?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you saying, Sir Khan?
Who was it?
This is Sir Gabriel Caligula. This is Mihail's uncle, who oversees the whole armies of.
Sir, I hear you're looking. I assume you're looking for me or Mihail. What can I help you with, sir?
Why would I be looking for you? I have no interest in listening to anything that an Amaria has to say. I'm looking for my nephew. Where is he?
I've not seen him since yesterday when we fought to defend the city.
The Ninth Council calls upon him. He has things to answer to in this moment. You've not seen him at all this morning?
Not since the Archon speech.
He better be in the courtyard with his voivode. I will head there now. One way or another, he will be dragged before the Ninth, and he will have to answer to their questions.
Dragged before the Ninth?
Well, the Archon's waiting for him as well.
I see. And if I may ask, regarding what, sir?
Marinov. I've already spoken to him about it.
Ah,
I tried to speak on my behalf, and they have no interest in listening to me. They want to hear it from the horse's mouth, so to speak. And let's just hope he doesn't make us all look like a bunch of jackasses.
well,
No promises.
I wouldn't hold your breath.
no
Yeah.
offense, sir, but your nephew's somewhat of a jackass.
Yes.
As I said, I have no interest of hearing the spittle of an Amaria. Carry on as you were. And he's gonna push by you, his shoulder bumping into yours as he's heading off towards the courtyard.
Sounds like he just runs in the family.
Yeah.
How far at this point is Mihail off from me?
I would say the city itself is not massive at this time. He's probably 200 yards or 200 feet or so. You're not going to be able to pedal past him faster.
No.
Yeah.
I was actually considering using like sky magic and sending a message to him, sort of like the spell sending, right?
Yeah.
That's what I was considering doing, spending a mana to do that.
Yeah, let me pull up our notes here and see what that may cost you. I mean, regularly it would not be much, but considering the distance that you're going to have to cast that in order
Right.
for him to hear it, I'm going to say it's probably going to cost you 2 mana to get it to him.
Okay, I'm
You're
gonna do it.
So old.
I'm so old. He's old and wrinkly.
Got the saggiest balls in the West.
Yep, you're starting to sag.
So I will spend the 2 mana and send him a message. Mihail, your uncle's looking for you, and he seems quite upset. Just heads up, he's heading to your courtyard.
All right, so Mihail, you'll hear a whisper on the wind.
All right.
And then I'll continue off back towards the temple.
All right. So, about how long has the ritual taken since the meeting this morning?
You're only
Announcement?
going to be about 15 minutes. Oh, you're only going to be like 15 minutes after the ritual. So, I mean...
Well, how long did the ritual take?
Oh, you don't know. You were out of it for most of it.
Way to go!
It's
We're
been like an
chatting and
hour.
whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, by the position of the sun, you would expect about an hour and a half or so.
Okay.
You guys were in there longer than you thought that you were in there.
Actually, I thought we were in there for like 3-4 hours, so...
Oh, yeah.
Erdemir's still there.
All right. Upon hearing the message from Sircon, I'll look at Dorothy and say that Gabriel is on his way here, and it sounded urgent. I don't know how much tone comes through on the message.
Dorfe will sigh. He'll be like, well, he cannot be found in here with the body of a dragon. Erdmir, you better come out with us. Close the gates behind you, and let's try to direct Gabriel away from the courtyard if we can.
I'm still covered in blood, right?
No, you were cleaned up by Dorfe.
Even while I was skinning this thing?
Oh, no, you would not be. He would have to clean you again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, you're older now.
I'm not.
So Dorfe will urge you guys to move out of the stables to try to meet Gabriel as close to the gates or out on the road as you can.
Should we head towards the temple?
I don't know what direction he's coming from. I didn't hear a message like you did.
Where does Gabriel usually, where is he staying? Is he part of the temple building, or is he in a different?
He has his own home, which is actually
his office.
Oh, his office is usually at the 𝐾𝐨𝐤 estate where you guys are at. The 𝐾𝐨𝐤s generally all have different homes that are in that estate where you stay at, and his office is there as well.
So he does his job from our house here.
Yeah, your grouping of houses within the same walled structure.
Yeah. Okay. I'll move over towards his building in that direction, because I know that he had wanted to speak to me at some point. And if he shows up in the courtyard while I'm either moving towards his building or exiting his building, then it might look like we're trying to find him.
Okay. Dorfe will ask you, do you wish me to accompany you in this engagement with my brother? I don't know that I am too interested in seeing him in my current state. And he's aged a good 20 years.
I mean, I don't think he'd be interested in seeing you in any state, so...
Well, I would ask Erdmir, accompany my son, yes? Keep him safe from whatever harm may befall him.
All right.
And then come back and skin the dragon, and then you can get rid of the corpse.
You gotta come back and finish skinning the dragon.
And then I will reward you with healing.
And then, return and you'll give you some bandages.
I better get some fish and gravy for this.
All right, so Dorfe will move away from the company. You guys will actually cross Gabriel in the courtyard, so you won't make it to his office before you actually see him in the courtyard. And he will just storm right towards you. His face is flushed. You can see the redness up into his neck. He has aged a little bit from the battle, so you can tell that he has actually gained some years casting magic in the battle against the Vicari. But he immediately comes straight up to you. Son Mihail, nephew, I don't know where you've been this morning. I was hoping to speak with you. After the Archon speech, I have not had time. I need you to reiterate to me, and he's going to look at Erdmir cautiously, what occurred with Gabriela Marinov? And where's the head?
Okay, so I need to remember what I told him initially. Well, I know where the head is, because I specifically said after he had left that I took the head inside to preserve it.
Okay.
I was going to use it as a trophy, but if the 9th wants it, then they can have it. Let's see.
I don't know if they want it. They just want evidence of the deed.
Okay. Let's see. We had told him that we'd come across her in the woods. She had led her contingent to the Vicari into an ambush. She had taken their weapons. The Vicari slaughtered them. I had gone to Hlukos and seen the battlefield and the corpses myself. She had tried to attack us and another soldier, and then we killed her.
She specifically told us that she killed the soldiers for Wolos. Like, she led them to
and
the
she was
Vicari.
talking about Wolos talking to her and Goran, and they were making a sacrifice and that kind of stuff.
When we talked to the group, I thought we weren't going to mention that she was hearing stuff from Volos, because that was why you wanted.
I had mentioned that to Gabriel.
Okay.
And 𝐥𝐤𝐤 said that we didn't need that kind of contention right now.
Before the battle.
Before the battle. But at no point is 𝐵𝐵ale going to leave that out in his tellings.
And what did you tell them about the companion that was with her, the other soldier?
He died in the conflict.
That she had killed him?
Or his wounds were too severe?
His wounds took him after the fight, I believe.
Well, now the 9th wants you to come before them as they put you through a trial, is as our way to determine whether or not you're telling the truth. I suggest you bring someone who can validate your story.
Man, we're in the shit right now, guys.
I think I got a dragon.
What am I being charged of?
They just want to understand that it's the truth of it. You know our laws, 𝐵𝐵ale.
Yeah, but me as a player do not.
Our laws specifically allow for selective enforcement. They're based on social standing, caste, or perceived loyalty of the accused. You continue to have correspondence with your father within the Carrion Council and continue to be seen there and in the accompaniment of them. Therefore, they will hold you by a trial of ordeal in order to figure out which disputes need to be resolved, and if there's any lies that are predicted through their trials, then they will find you or punish you accordingly.
Is trial by ordeal trial by combat?
No, not always. Sometimes
don't take 𝐴rdmir.
In the case of 𝐾𝐤𝐤, it's a trial by combat to gain the seat of the Imperial family. The other trials that occur are trials where they use magic in order to put you through great torment, or you have things like the trial of paradox or the trial of wit, or other types of things to try to confuse the individual in order to giving away things in their body language or in their speech that would allow them to discern the truth.
Okay, I just want to say it now, Joshua. That's mean. I cannot beat you in a battle of wits.
Quick question on the trial. On the trial where you can a challenge for the seat, what does the law actually say on that?
It requires for you to be 𝐷𝐤𝐤𝐿, but you do a one-on-one battle with whoever the current Archon is in order to gain the seat of the Archon. Yeah, we talked about this in session 0, so it's been a while. But he is going to make eyes towards 𝐴rdmir, and he goes, I do not know how well they will receive an outsider as being your witness to accompany you in this, but I don't see any other options. So I suggest you both come with me now.
Well, I mean, would it not be better to find one of my other companions that might be more amenable to the 9th?
They've all been ready waiting for half an hour by the Temple of Wolos, including the Archon himself.
Ah, shit. Okay. Well, we don't want to keep the Archon waiting.
Then follow me. And with that, he will direct both of you towards the Temple of Wolos in order to engage. Oh, go ahead.
I'll put up a finger, say, hold on, I gotta run into the house. And then I run into my house and get the head.
Oh, very good. Yeah. Do bring the head with you. So you guys will move off in order to face the Archon and several of the 9th Council to engage in those trials that they have prepared for you. And it sounds like 𝐸rkhan is going to find Dawn to undergo their own trials with another set of the 9th Council that's awaiting them at the Temple of Marhina.
If Dawn's at the temple, otherwise I'm going alone.
Meanwhile, 𝐵𝐵ale trips and falls, and the HUD goes rolling underneath a cart, and just...
can't reach
really
it.
Gonna suck is if they try and do their own little talk to the dead.
They can't. He sucked the soul out.
Yeah.
I know. They don't know that.
So
if they go and try, that might be bad.
Real quick knowledge check.
But if they do, they would condemn her soul, and I don't think they're willing to do that.
Another really fine point to recognize that you guys would know this is that no one on the 9th does profane magic.
Yeah.
Right.
Which means none of them can speak to the dead.
Well,
They
sacred
𝐸rkhan did it.
Sacred
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sacred can do it too. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And I will pull out my bottle that I opened of wine earlier and I'll offer it to you, Mihail.
I will definitely take a swig. Great big one.
And then Erdemir will practice his talk to dead, and he'll just kind of hold the head and be like, "Blah, blah, 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 blah."
Please don't disrespect Dad.
Well, let's ask her.
He is ready to go back home. He's ready to tell his people to sever ties, and we're done.
You only got a few days left to figure all this out. All right, so that's a good spot.
They're crazy.
That's a good spot for our break. So we will come again and after the break and begin our trials. Welcome back, everybody, from our break. We are continuing our story of the 9th Ascension as our party is now split. We have Don that has propelled ahead to the Temple of Marhina to go confront his mother of the acts that he has been involuntarily involved in, with 𝐥𝐿 hot on his heels, knowing that at least members of the 9th Council are there investigating the missing items of the Ferretary. And at the same time, we have 𝐿rithmir and Mihail that are being taken in front of the Archon and other members of the 9th Council to be put through trials to attest the truth of what really happened to Gabriella. So we are going to begin with Don, who is ahead of everybody else in this transition, coming up on the Temple of Marhina. You can see that the doors are swung wide open. There is movement from within. You can see a few members of the council within the scope there, and looking for movement specifically at the edge of the door. Where did my notes go? No! I don't know how in the world I lost him. I had him sitting right here in front of me.
Don't you hate that? You're like in a meeting and that happens.
Yeah.
sucks.
It's usually my tools when I'm working on something.
That's why I
Yeah.
don't take or keep notes.
That makes sense. You just
can't
record
Walk
everything?
off.
There it is. Standing at the door is going to be Dragoslav Sirhan, one of the members of the Carrion Council. He's like looking for movement, and he's going to see you, Don, as you're coming up. He's like, "Oh, Don, did Roselia find you?"
No.
There's members of the Ninth here. They're up in the Frederick.
Where's my daughter?
I believe she's on the 3rd floor with your mother.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so you just funnel right by him. You'll see Serena on the way, who will kind of raise her hand to like gesture to speak to you, and you plow by her as well, heading up the staircase on the edge to get to the 3rd floor to the library, where you will find your mother sitting there in the main room and your daughter not far away.
All right, so is my daughter occupied or?
She's off in the corner, actually reading at this time one of the books in the library, and your mother's just keeping an eye on her from a distance. She's pacing. She's noticeably nervous, walking around in the library.
Did
Don,
you know?
I did not know that the Ninth Council would be coming
I
here.
don't care about the Ninth Council. Did you know what Dorothy intended to do with the Gold Dragon?
As far as I know, what are you speaking of, son? The gold dragon is outside the walls. We have to use it later in order to get its skin for the vellum.
No longer. The ritual that he performed.
I do not know what ritual you speak of.
So he did this alone. He did not involve the other members of the Carrion Council in his plans to perform a ritual to drink the blood of the gold dragon.
Don, I do not understand what it is that you're speaking of.
I feel like it was fairly clear he did a ritual to drink the blood of a golden dragon. What is the confusion here?
How is that possible? Drinking the blood of the dragon would kill any of us.
It was involved. I was not conscious during all of it, although I did manage to see most of it. All I know is that he summoned myself and the other members that have been doing deeds for the Carrion Council, and we participated in the ritual, largely involuntarily. He did not tell us what he intended, and we were not aware of it until the conclusion.
She's gonna just a ghastly, turning pale, trying to stomach some of the words of what you're telling her. I knew that there's members within the council that are acting on their own. I did not think that it would be Dorothy. It's he and I that have to piece together the Vakalok. We cannot do it without one another.
My concern at this point, since it seems as though the members of the Carrion Council are more interested in themselves than the good of the rest of the people of Lehrheim, is to see that my daughter is safe. And given the Archon's announcement, it is likely that I will be kicked out of the city at any time, along with my daughter. Preparations need to be made.
You understand that I too will be kicked out of the city along with you.
Of course. What preparations have you begun to make? You had to know this was coming.
There have been whispers that those of us with profane magic will be the first ones expedited from the city.
Yes.
I have booked us passage on one of our ships that head down the Nebu Sea to the east in hopes of finding a settlement further on, but the sea and the land both are have monsters abound that I'm not sure how well we will contend with, but it was my hope to at least complete the task at hand with the Vakalok and hoping that there'd be a way forward for, and she'll glance towards Need, for our bloodline in the future, whether or not you or I survive.
Yes, and that is the most important thing. We will do what we can for each other, but if we cannot protect one another, we will protect her at all costs.
I am with you in this. Even if there's not a way for her to come back to Lehrheim, there needs to at least be a future for her alone.
And that is why the Vakalok must be completed.
I do not even understand what this is that 𝐸𝐸 has done with this dragon, or what this has gained him. This was nothing that was spoken of with me, but... And she's gonna...
I think I left before he actually showed what he got from it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, correct.
I think 𝐸𝐸 was the only one that stayed.
Well, and 𝐸𝐸, but...
Right.
And she's going to bring her voice down to a hushed whisper, knowing that the 𝐸𝐸 exists here within the temple. There's no way to cast magic and conceal your conversation. But she'll say, I believe that there's been suggestion that there's betrayal among you or your friends that have been leaking information to the 9th. But I wonder if there's someone specifically on the Carrion Council that has been doing such things.
I would imagine whoever is seeking to condemn others is most likely at the heart of it.
Well, I believe that they're trying to protect themselves and their own name here within the city.
Most likely.
But
for my part, I've seen nothing untoward from any of those I've traveled with. They've been true. They've had the opportunity to either succeed or fail. And each of us had the opportunity at one point or another to change the tides of any fight or any event that we participated in. If it truly was the intent of anyone among us to see that things ended poorly, it could have been done, and it wasn't.
She's going to shake her head rather firmly. You're going to see tears welling just at the side of her eyes, and she's going to wipe them away, trying not to show any weakness. She'll say, son, you have to understand, I lost your father, and there's been many others in the years past that I have not been able to grow old with, as they say. It is my hope to do what I can, and knowing that we would be leaving this place with need. I wanted that more than anything. As I said, I've secured passage for us to get away. But I feel like we need to see this task done. I hate to turn a blind eye to the selfish acts that those amongst us take, but I understand not all of them share the profane bloodline as we do. Not all of them are seen as being as wicked as we are. They have a future still here. We do not.
We do not. I will see the deed done. At the very least, on the chance that it gives need a way forward in the future.
The moment that we have secured the final piece, and that 𝐸𝐸 and I have copied what needs to be done in the 𝐸𝐸, we take our leave. We don't look back.
See that all preparations that can be made are made. Food, supplies, bandages. Everything that we can carry with us.
I will. And I will make sure that my granddaughter remains safe.
Good. Why is the 9th Council here?
They came here to take what was left of the Frederi, and it was shared with them, as was told to us by 𝐸𝐸, that it was robbed during the assault by the Vukhari. And they are here taking what remains, and they have asked to question those that may know of what was there and what was raided. I believe they wait for 𝐸𝐸. His mother went out searching for him, but I would think that she was hoping that somebody would stand with him during his interrogation. The 9th Council, as you know through our laws, as we did ourselves, will not go easy on trying to confuse him so that something may slip.
I believe that... I don't know where he is. I saw his mother in the streets, but I had more pressing matters in mind. I will go down and see what can be done. I believe that he was still tied up in whatever 𝐸𝐸 was doing, but that does not mean that he is not finished yet.
She'll shake her head firmly. I will be as honest with you as I can in every moment as you have more questions that come forward. I feel now the tides are certainly shifting. We are not even safe within these walls.
No, and we have very little of the army left to protect us from the threats outside, and it seems as though the threats inside are multiplying.
And she will nod again and give you your leave for you to move forward as she makes her way over towards Nadezhda. Dawn, you will make your way back down the stairs after your conversation to find that 𝐸𝐸 has now arrived with the sun, not even quite at its apex here as he's coming into the temple. He too will be greeted by Dragoslav at the front. You see that Serena has made her way to the front with Dragoslav. And Roselia is still at your heels, your mother. So you'll be coming into the ingress of the temple as Dawn is approaching, looking for you, 𝐸𝐸.
Okay. On my way there, just because I know what I'm getting into, 𝐸𝐸 would have told his mother to... 𝐸𝐸's going to stop off in like a side alley, something like that. Mother, give me 10 minutes. I need to, I feel there's something I need to do. And he's not even going to wait for an answer. He's just going to walk off. And he is going to pray and use sacred magic and cast, like a form of divination.
Okay.
And ask for basically going into what, because he's well aware of what he did, right?
Mm-hmm.
Going in and basically asking for protection, either to wipe his memory, so if he is probed and his mind fails in protecting that information, he has no recollection of anything other than they were there when he locked the doors, and they're gone the last time he went to that temple.
Mm-hmm.
So whether that be divination or, I don't know if there's like a very, like, older versions had like hide lies. I don't know if there's a version of that in this, but something along those lines, and basically hope that he can get some kind of divine intervention here.
Okay, so you're not casting magic per se. You're not using 𝐾𝐨𝐲. You're just making a prayer towards Marhina for assistance if needed.
I will spend mana if it's going to help, and give my life force to the whole idea of that.
Okay.
If it'll help, yeah, I'll do it. And it's fine.
I've
I've already rolled 3 times. I may as well. I'm not going to have a kid at this point.
𝐸𝐸's going to come in looking 90.
What happened up there?
Jesus.
I don't remember.
How much money you had up on this one, bud?
So my concern with this is that you will be stepping into the temple where there is the 𝐸𝐸, which means that magic itself would not be able to be cast in there. It's a question of whether or not...
Right, so hence the reason I did it outside.
Yeah, so it'll be a question of whether or not lingering magic would remain. So...
all right, I'll just pray then.
So the way that we're going to do it is that we will pray, and it will give you essentially an opportunity that if something ends up being a failed roll, then we'll see whether or not there's a percentage of Marhina being able to intervene, which may cost you life force with her intervening.
Good enough.
Just sitting there aging while they're asking you questions.
I'm totally not lying.
This is weird.
It's a whole different Pinocchio experience. If your balls drop during the course of interrogation.
If he gets dementia and can't recall, then it's not lying, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, sounds great. I like it. You're just like, Mother, I need 10 minutes. You start walking off. She's like, what am I, spoiled goat milk? And you're just like...
At this point, yes.
All right. Okay, so coming back then with 𝐸𝐸 after his prayer to Marhina in an alleyway where such things take place, you'll come into the temple and find Dawn there with the rest of the group. And it will be Serena who will address kind of both of you simultaneously as you're coming in. She'll say, 𝐸𝐸, we've been looking for you, and Dawn, I didn't hardly even see you come in before you were gone again.
Woman, please. Dawn, is your daughter okay?
She's fine.
Good.
Being well looked after for once.
We are living strange times, do we not?
Yes.
Do you not realize that I'm a sitting member of the Carrion Council, and you have the 9th that is sitting in the Ferretery waiting for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well aware.
Good.
Anything else that you'd like to tell us that we already know?
Then you can follow with me, for Marcel Malik and 𝐷𝐸𝐤𝐤 and 𝐥𝐢𝐤𝐤 are waiting for you to interrogate you through the trial of paradoxes and potentially another I am not aware of.
Lovely. What do we know about the trial of paradoxes?
Yeah, what do we know?
So, roll me an intelligence check.
I love the respect being tossed around right now.
It's getting less and less.
Oh.
Ooh.
Hey, Prime.
Hey.
God.
Ooh. So, Dawn, with a 13, you know that during the trial of paradoxes, you are essentially presented scenarios that are meant to weaken the mind. That is paradoxical in nature, and you have to explain what the paradox is in the question. And as you're doing that, other members are probing your mind, just looking at your verbal language and looking at your speech patterns, nothing magical, and trying to determine whether or not there are lies through the other questions that they'll kind of intertwined within the paradoxical questions.
Okay.
So it's a lot of word games.
Old-timey lie detector test.
So I'm going to quietly ask Dawn, what are we getting into?
I will do my best to explain that situation.
Mm-hmm.
So, school your features. Make sure that you're staying focused.
Okay.
So you guys will kind of have the choice, depending on some of these things, if you're going to be rolling intelligence and trying to answer it well, if you're trying to roll like a wisdom to cloak what it is that you don't want them to perceive, or if you want to roll a charisma to have those features schooled a little bit. You can decide any of those three on how you want to play with it in responding to them.
Oh, I gave you the wrong advice. I can't charisma. I don't know if you can, but I cannot.
I mean,
can you make a roll of strength to punch him in the face to see if you can answer the paradox that way?
Just flex at them.
Right. Okay.
So glorious.
So absolutely glorious. All right, so let me pull these up really quick. Again, you're going to have 𝐷𝐸𝐤𝐤 that is going to be there. Things that you guys will know from 𝐷𝐸𝐤𝐤, she is actually a caster of void magic. She primarily spends the time trying to read things that are going on with you. Long, flowing, dark red hair, wearing a blue undershirt with a red vest, really bright, icy blue eyes. I don't think you guys have actually encountered her before.
No.
Also, along with them is 𝐷𝐸𝐤𝐤. This is also
That's
young
a new
woman.
one too.
Yep, she's a new one too. She uses primal magic primarily, has her hair in a braid down over her right shoulder, wearing a lot of like furs and cloaked things. She seems like she spends more time in hunter-esque types of areas than the other ones. And then I believe the third one, which you guys do know, is Marcel Malik.
Karina's not here, huh?
No, she is not.
Damn.
I'm probably gonna have to deal with her.
That means you get to flirt with the others.
Marcel has the longer flowing red hair, the blue cloak, wears a lot of like brown, tan, neutral colors, has the beard. He was the one that was really a jerk to you guys in the
yes, in the tavern.
Yeah, in the tavern early on. So you guys have ran into him a couple of times. And he uses sacred magic, like Sir.
Yep. Okay.
All right. So you guys will come up the stairs to the Ferretery. There's a number of other folks that are there as well that work for the night. They're kind of collecting just stuff off the shelves and putting things into bags to carry them out. And you will be approached by 𝐷𝐸𝐤𝐤, 𝐷𝐸𝐤𝐤, and Marcel. And Marcel will be the first to speak. So it's Silkran and Dawn who have come to finally answer for the missing artifacts from the Ferretery, your query. It's been told to us by the Carrion Council that these were conveniently taken, some of the most powerful artifacts that were in your collection during the raid by the Vukhari. Was this something that was seen by either one of you?
Marcel, a jackass as always, I see. And eloquent, too. I saw that it was broken in last night. That's what I saw.
Unfortunately, no. Dawn and I were busy protecting the city.
Yeah. I didn't see you on the walls.
I didn't see any ninth with us, but
No.
we were at the Archon's residence, the front gate, the rear of the city. Lost some dear friends in those fights.
Ah, so you were running all over the city like chickens with your heads cut off while we were defending the populace. And it will, he'll be cut off pretty quickly by Vargar. Like, we're not here to share stories back and forth nor insults. We need to ask you some questions about the missing items to ensure that your story is accurate and not full of lies.
Please ask.
Ah, so we're prepared then. Drahomira, I believe that you get the first series of questions for these gentlemen, while Marcel and I will examine them. And so with that, Drahomira will step forward in front of both of you and say, all right, so we will be prepared here to test your wits, as is common within the Trial of Paradoxes. Here is your first test to unravel. You hear the words, "I always lie." Is the speaker telling the truth or lying?
They are telling the truth.
They logically cannot be telling the truth. They must be lying. The paradox is, if they are telling the truth, then
they are lying.
Then they are lying. If they are lying, then they are telling the truth.
So they cannot be definitively true or false. All right, roll me whatever check you would like to, as they are trying to penetrate your senses and reading your body language.
Nice.
Wow, 23 and a 26 with an intelligence and wisdom score respectively. So yeah, you guys are able to find that the paradox is that if the speaker is telling the truth, then they're lying about always lying, right? Which creates a contradiction. So, and they also, if they always lie, then they're telling the truth about always lying, which also creates a contradiction. So there's a paradox in there. There's no way to actually have this be true or false on either side. So then it will be Vargar who will step forward. She says, all right, it's my turn to ask the question, Drahomira, if you would examine them. And she will say, this was well reasoned, but let's move on. The next statement is false. The previous statement is true. How do you interpret this? I told Greg on break that he would have hated this test.
That's true.
The next statement is false. The previous statement is true. How do you interpret this?
It is the same as the last. If your next statement is false and the previous statement is true, how do we know which one to believe?
Very astute there, Sir Khan. Let's roll another checks to see whether or not they're able to read through.
Holy shit!
Dawn does succeed with a prime score of 15, and Sir Khan criticals with his very astute answer in seeing that this too is a paradox that leads to a logical contradiction, because neither can be true without negating the other. And Vargar will say, excellent analysis. Let me give you a final paradox. You will lie in response to this question. Do you? And again,
Sir Khan will say nothing.
Yeah, Dawn's going to say nothing. Just stare at them.
You will lie in response to this question. Do you?
Yes.
So in saying yes, you admit to lying in response to a question?
That's not what he said. He said you will lie in response. I said yes, so the answer is no.
But if you were to say no, then you'd be denying the claim that you will lie, which would be considered a lie in and of itself.
No, if I said yes. Or if I said no, excuse me. God damn it. Jason's been drinking.
𝐸𝐐, you
*𝐸𝐐
really
probably was too, let's be honest.
Yeah, it was
That's
a rough
what he
day
did for
yesterday.
10 minutes. He was just chugging a fifth in the alley.
Took that bottle of wine.
Mihail and
There's still
Aramir
some
carried
powder.
bottles heading up.
There's plenty of bottles in our party sheet, just so you know.
So 𝐸𝐶 stumbles through his answer. Don stares at them blankly. Let's roll a check on this question. Let's see if the dice reflect.
Oh, by the skin of your teeth.
Hey!
Yeah.
Yeah, so 𝐸𝐶, even though your answer doesn't necessarily reflect the paradox with your 24, you
Or
are
I just gave him another paradox.
You may give him something to think about.
You're able to keep your composure through it so that nothing is read in that. Don just blankly stares, which seems to serve the purpose of essentially finding the futility in the question in the way that it's asked of itself. So Vargard will say, "Admirable. You have navigated some trials of paradoxes with skill and insight. Your understanding of logic and reason is commendable, better than most would do." And she's going to look at her two compatriots and conclude, "All right, you've passed the trial of paradoxes. Let's enter into a battle of wits. Marcel, this is your station." And Marcel will come
Dawn is
forward.
just going to start
I
chuckling.
was going to say *𝐸𝐶's going to chuckle a little bit.
Is that really the best they can do?
Marcel is going to smirk as he comes forward, kind of snorting his nose. "All right. You have at your disposal a company of skilled soldiers, skilled infantrymen, skilled archers, a cavalry, and a cadre of wizards that will be proficient in elemental magic. You can only use each of these companies one time. We will engage in a battle and see how well you are able to navigate it and winning. So, to begin, you are facing a magic user of the vile, profane magic who is making the first move." He's going to look at Dawn. "This vile, profane magic user conjures a horde of undead minions to advance upon your forces. How do you respond using your companies?"
So is this left to both of us to respond, or each one of us individually? How's that going?
You'll have to agree with each other in how you want to move forward tactically. So you have infantrymen, archers, and cavalry, and wizards. You have 4 companies. You can only use each one once in order to beat the wizard in battle.
What's the nature of the undead?
The nature of the what?
The undead.
The undead.
We'll just say they're skeletons. They're foot soldiers. So they have no flight, no quick movement. They are foot soldiers of some kind.
Well, Don, I mean, if we're being honest, I'd probably call a general.
You don't have a general. You have infantry, archers, cavalry, and wizards. You don't get a lifeline.
Now we're changing the rules.
I'd like to take a lifeline, Regis.
Well, now we know how we got the Battle of Wits.
It was a battle of wits, right? I'm not a military tactician.
Isn't this kind of problematic since he doesn't believe in profane magic, that he's calling upon a wizard with profane magic?
He's saying the profane magic user's the evil guy. How do you defeat him?
He believes in it. He just doesn't.
Oh, I thought he's like kind of running that side. So anyway, sorry.
No.
Yeah.
But
no.
I
No,
don't know.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, which was my thought. It's like, okay, you're asking about military tactics. We're not the tacticians.
We're not tacticians, yeah.
That's not what we do. But I don't feel like that's going to be sufficient.
I don't either. I would. If we're talking slow infantry, archers is in my opinion the call.
I wouldn't say archers since they're skeletons, meaning that most of the arrows are either going to go through them or they're going to bounce off the bony exterior.
This is true.
So I would I would just go with regular infantry.
So you would order the infantry then?
If 𝐸𝐶 agrees.
If they are standard skeletons,
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I will agree with that.
Yep.
All right. You order the infantry forward. You can roll your check.
What?
It could be intelligence, wisdom, or charisma. Because
Oh,
the other folks are studying you, trying to look through you as you're trying to rationalize and reason things. Yeah, so with a 13 prime that is successful, as well as a 24, you guys are able to pass the first level of the Battle of Wits. He's going to continue into the second round of this and say, the profane bastard calls upon the witch Marhina to have evil spectres float about 100 paces above the ground, their tentacles reaching for the life energy of your armies. Who do you call on in order to defend against them and their fleshy tentacles?
Fleshy tentacles.
Fleshy tentacles?
Yeah, so you have flying specters that have these flesh materialistic tentacles that are coming out and reaching for your armies, floating above the ground.
Is it safe to assume the fleshy means
They can be interacted with by physical
they can be
objects?
interacted with?
Mm-hmm.
I would say archers.
I would say archers as well.
All right, you call upon the archers then to rain arrows upon the undead that are floating. Roll me another check. Critical miss, Sir Con.
19.
Yeah, I got a 20 and a 26. Very good. You can see Marcel's getting a little frustrated. You guys are 2 for 2 right now in determining how to construct this thing. And he was hoping to catch you off guard, considering that neither one of you are generals. So he's going to kind of bite his inner lip and go, okay. Seeing your defensive stance, the profane magic user will unleash a torrent of dark energy, shrouding the battlefield in shadows and draining the vitality of your troops. Darkness ascends upon them. Now who do you call on?
Is this where we're throwing in our
elemental magic?
Yeah,
this is where you
using
cast fire and light the area.
fire to burn it away, or air to blow it away, or any combination there.
Earth to block the wall, whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So throw me
all
another
good.
check. And we again have a success with a 13 and a 25. Both of those are successful. Clearly, there's only one more answer as he throws this out there and says, "The enemy." And he just he is so furious because at this point you've already won. Sensing an opportunity, distances himself from your reach and summons a life-stealing energy in hopes of strengthening his troops and crushing your forces. So he moves away and hopes to attack you from a distance. What do you use?
Run him down with the cavalry.
Cavalry, close the distance and run him down.
All right, and roll the final roll here. And we have 2 16s. That is a 22 and a 27 with your bonuses on there. Drahomira is going to say, "There you are, Marcel. These two are not as evil as you lumped them up to be. The Battle of Wits is a test of skill, strategy, and resilience, and they have surpassed the challenge. We will report back to Karina that the items of this temple were taken by the Bukhari."
If you would care to join us in the tavern later, I'd be happy to buy you another drink, as long as Karina comes with you.
Sircon's so goddamn smooth.
Drahomira is going to look at Varga and goes, "I assume you're inviting Marcel to join you in the tavern, for I have not joined you there."
Yeah, I was looking at Marcel. Yeah. Sorry.
That should be a lovely date for the two of you. And Varga's going to smirk and head out, and Marcel's just going to shake his head and turn around and leave as well. Well done to Don and Sircon. You guys completely did
nice job
to perfection.
Mm-hmm. Perfection.
So, have they left?
Yeah, they have now left.
Okay. Don, you need to be prepared to leave.
I am.
If things do not go the way they should, know that your daughter has a home here. I'll look after her as my own.
I don't think they'll let her stay. They're looking at all profane users, and she is of my bloodline.
She is of your bloodline, but She's not there yet. You've been a dear friend for a long time. If she needs to stay, she has my home.
I appreciate it.
I will look after her as my own.
I appreciate it. I don't think that they'll allow it, but if it comes to it, it's greatly appreciated.
I'll smack him on the back a few times and head out of the room.
Yep.
All right. So
we're living pretty high right now. We shut it down hard.
Yeah.
You guys did. You guys shut that down real hard. I am so impressed. All right, we're going to shift things over to 𝐿𝐷𝐼r and Sir Mihail, who have been led by the Surtur out of the city to the Temple of Wolos on the edge, where they had just the festival a couple of days ago, being brought forward in front of the Archon, as well as Karina Kluk, Kel Benjamin, the Archon's son, and Jeronim Assad, who also, of course, happens to be the son of one of the city members on the Carrion Council. So you guys are approaching this area. The Archon is actually standing to the side a little bit, more paying attention and watching this interaction and what's going on. You can see that Karina Kluk is in the center of the other two. Her hair is fiery orange underneath the sunlight. Her eyes, again, piercing in you guys' direction, kind of preparing herself for the task at hand. The son, Kel Benjamin, is standing on her left side. His hair is tied back into a top knot. He is wearing his almost like his full armor for like only maybe a couple of pieces are gone, but he is like fully armored up and standing there as though he is preparing for battle himself, unsure of what may be coming. And then, of course, Jeronim, your childhood friend, Mihail's childhood friend, standing on the other side of Karina. He has a glowering look on his face as though he is not excited about what is about to transpire. And again, you have the Archon that's on the end, graying and old, kind of going through the motions, looking to his son more for his leadership in this, even though it is Karina that takes the lead. And as you guys approach, the Surtur will address them formally.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
I have a question.
Can we backtrack just a bit?
Of course.
So at the manor, when I go in to get the head, I would like to change into my proper ceremonial uniform.
Okay.
And then I would like to cast Enhance Ability on Charisma while I'm in there.
Okay.
It'll last for 4 hours, which should be enough to get to the thing and then do what we need to.
How much mana will that cost you?
3.
All right. Excellent.
Okay,
And I have a question, because as we're walking, 𝐿𝐷𝐼r is going to be probably asking Mihail some questions. And does Lerheim have any other major allies other than the Ispolini?
No, there's no other people known in the world to them.
Okay, so all right, that's what 𝐿𝐷𝐼r needed to know.
Am I your only friend? Yeah.
𝐿𝐷𝐼r is going to pull the lonely card.
Hey! Don't try to steal my thunder.
My bad.
Okay, yeah, so you're successful in doing that. Anything else that you're talking to him about as you guys are walking, 𝐿𝐷𝐼r? And remember that the Surtur is with you as well.
No, that's fine. I mean, 𝐿𝐷𝐼r would just be asking about probably put it in military context. What other allies do they have in the fight against? I always want to.
Vukari.
Vukari?
Yeah, Vukari. I don't even know these people very much, so. But just trying to find out, but trying to also hint of what other forces do they have to help them, or even to trade with them, since we're now trading weapons with them.
Okay. Yeah, there are no others, and like we had talked about a little bit before, the Ispolini actually pull some weapons from the 𝐸vil, who are further to the south, but the Stuhians themselves don't have any interaction with the 𝐸vil during this time. in history. So you guys sometimes collect weapons and then like bring them upwards and then trade them with the �ฑ𝐤𝐤ans. But the �ฑ𝐤𝐤ans aren't aware of any other races. They don't know about the 𝐸vet that are roaming the plains of Aharia, which are the centaurs. They don't know about the Cross, which are the enslaved members of there's like demonic gnomes that are way out in the west. They don't know about the Anshadar, which are the humans that are on the larger continent. The �ฑ𝐤𝐤ans have really kept themselves rather secluded off on the northeastern coast of the continent, primarily dealing in their engagements with the 𝐸splini and the Bukari. All right,
Okay.
so you guys move up then to the council that's awaiting for you. You have 3 members as well as the Archon that is there. The Surtur will say, as it was your command, Archon, I have brought Sir Mihail, who gave me the account firsthand of what had occurred with the other Sir's wife, Gabriella, and the 𝐸splini, who's been in town. And sometime he's been seen at the Temple of Marhina, and he can confirm the report of Sir Mihail. And then he's going to kind of shuffle off to the side, and Karina's going to be really quick to start the conversation and say, let's just begin exactly where we should be beginning, Sir Mihail Caligula. What is your confirmed report of what happened to Gabriella Marinov?
My confirmed report, if you had seen the documentation, would tell you that she come across us in the woods chasing a soldier. She was spouting nonsense about sacrificing him to Volos. She admitted to disarming her contingent and bringing them to the Bukari where they were slaughtered. And trying to remember what I said. I don't want to say the wrong thing. In the process of dealing with her, she was spouting nonsense about being spoken to by Volos, and that her and her husband were committing a sacrifice in Volos' name when trying to kill Nemeth and her own contingent of soldiers. We ended up killing her and returned to the city.
It was quite the laundry list of accusations. This will be Kel speaking to Karina. He's gonna be like, I don't know where you plan to start with such a story. There's a lot there to unravel. And Jeronimus goes, I can account that Sir Mihail has always been honest in his retellings. He did not earn the position of a sir in our armies and lead them in any retrospect of being a liar, Karina. And this is
I'm gonna nod at Generim when he says that, and thanks.
And you're gonna see Karina. This is probably the most cold you've ever seen her. Her jaw is tight as she's hearing the commentary of either one of her companions sitting up there. Her eyes don't even shift to the Archon, as though she's not even looking for permission and moving forward, or looking for guidance and what he wants her to do. She's just going to kind of keep this very leveled gaze at you while addressing Eretmir and say, and what of the 𝐸splini? Was he there when these events took place? Did he see all that it is that you report?
I can't say.
I think he can probably speak for himself, Sir Mihail.
You just asked if he saw it, looking at me. If you wish to have his response, talk to him directly. Show him some respect of an honored guest.
Yeah, she does not repeat the question.
I'm just staring at her coolly.
As a guest here at Lerheim and a representative of the 𝐸splini, we are but a simple people, and it is an honor to come and be able to speak with you all on this manner. I traveled with Mihail and the others in what we were doing to search for this woman who had taken troops out and lessened your forces, weakened you before an attack. And when we came upon her and she had slaughtered her men, it was important that the matter did not go unaddressed. And they acted in what was, in Mihail's decision, the best course of action. As someone who protects your city, stood on the walls to fight. We even came to the very gates of the palace and fought off the enemy with our troops weakened. Not only that, but the woman who led them, her husband, had been in an act of betrayal to kill another member on the Ninth Council. It seems to me that suspicion should be thrown towards them and not towards the ones who acted justly.
In your speaking of this, Eretmir, you will quickly see Kel. Like at the beginning of your speech, as you're talking about the simpleness of your people, Kel is looking to his father across the way, and he kind of gives this like almost subtle nod of the information. But when you mention that that Sir Goron had tried to kill a member of the Ninth Council, you see Karina's fists ball up, and almost like she's holding herself back from taking a step forward. And at one moment, she tries to interrupt you, but your voice is so deep and commanding that she holds back until you are finished. And at that time, when you do finish, you will have the Archon actually start to get ready to speak up. And he'll say, I need to know more about this assault on someone of the Ninth. And before he can finish, Karina will interrupt him. And
oh, shit.
And she will say, I think it's time for us to begin the trial of shadows and see how much either of them have been inflicted by the darkness that has settled within them.
Karina, are you in charge here, or is the Archon?
This is the Temple of Volos.
I'm going to look around and say, this is a courtyard.
And you are under trial and speak way too freely for someone as such. And she's going to gesture to Jeranim to move forward, and he will pull out 2 blindfolds from his side and move towards you. He will first approach Eretmir, and he'll say, Eretmir, if you could kneel a little bit, I must veil your eyes in order for this trial to take place.
You might need another one. He'll kneel down.
And he'll put it around your eyes and then check, and as you are very astute, he's going, oh yeah, and he will pull out another one out of his thing and cover your eyes to tie it tight, and tapping you on the shoulder, and then he'll move over to Mihail, and he'll whisper in your ear, Mihail, as he's fastening, he goes, be careful with your words. She is gaining more power each day. And he'll tie that off and then move away from you as well.
As Jeranim moves towards me, I'm just looking Karina in the eyes, and I do not look away or move from my position as he ties the blindfold around my face.
So you're not winking?
No.
You're giving the blindfold stare.
That's I like the power play.
I hate to say this though, your girlfriend sounds a little bit bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, your girlfriend's a bitch, 𝐸𝐿. Sorry.
You might have dodged the bullet not having a kid with her.
All right, so in this, you guys will be able to roll a Constitution. You can roll an Intelligence. You can roll a Wisdom, or you can roll a Charisma for the Trial of Shadows. Okay, so you guys are both blindfolded. It's going to feel very dark, darker than you even wearing the blindfold. Once they begin the questioning regiment, you guys will feel like a darkness is clouding in on both sides of your eyes. You can't even see past where the blindfold is at. You're not able to see any of their body movements or read anything from your inquisitors. And the first question will come from Karina, and she will say, "Tell me, how did Gabriela Marinov die?"
Out of character real quick. How did she die? Like, I don't remember, like, we beheaded her, but I don't remember how.
You lost her head.
That was it. Like it was kind of a off-screen type thing. We just...
Okay, and who had done it?
You.
You did.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Okay.
I was peeing in the woods.
Yeah, you're
Right,
the worst.
okay.
You're the worst murderer ever. Who did it? I don't know.
Wouldn't
That may make him the best.
murderer?
That's the best.
Okay. See, the question was, how did she die?
Mm-hmm.
So I removed her head.
Okay. Now, for Eretmir, you're not hearing his answer. So how do you respond?
So I hear that. How did she die?
Yeah, his sound sounds muffled, so you're not actually hearing his answer.
I mean, I feel like Eretmir would just say that her head was removed.
Okay, so let's have a roll.
Oh my god.
Eretmir is solid with a 23 roll. Mihail does not quite meet the mark with his 10. The second question that comes forward is, where is her body?
Did we burn it?
Where we left it?
I think we left it in the woods.
That's going to be Eretmir's, where we left it.
So I believe it left to rot in the woods, as a trader should.
All right. So you guys both say, did you say where we left it, Eretmir?
Yep, that's what he says.
I double checked, just FYI, if you guys want to check the notes, they're there. But yeah, we did leave her in the woods.
Okay.
You were supposed to say you checked the notes, and it was where we left it.
All right, a successful roll of a 23 and a 24. And the final question in the Trial of Shadows is going to be, what happened to the soldier that she was hunting?
He died of his wounds.
I was told he died of his wounds.
All right, let's see the two rolls. That is a success with a 19 from Eretmir and a success with 15 from Mihail. So after this, the blindfolds will be removed. And you'll find everyone then standing around you again. And it will be, Jerendon will be like, okay, I think that's good enough, Karina, yes, for us to move into the Trial of Torment. And in this one, you guys will both have hallucinations of what actually occurred during the truth of the event, and it is your task to hide those from the perceptive view of Karina, who will be probing you to watch what it is that you're seeing.
Eretmir's just going to be seeing his own penis as he pees in the woods.
Yeah, he's immune to charm and shit. Does that affect him?
He is. Eretmir is immune to charm and fear, which means that nothing in this trial will actually affect him. He'll just be looking around like he doesn't understand what's happening.
We just see everybody.
Eretmir, though, is going to ask, as he is on trial, am I required to take this?
We are only seeking, Sir Master Ispellini, that you are able to confirm what it is that Sir Mihail is sharing. If you wish to recuse yourself and have him fully take responsibility without your confirmations, Karina's gonna smirk. I'm perfectly okay with this.
I just want to make sure that I have a choice here, and not that I must.
And the Archon will speak up. He says, "My apologies, Master Ispellini. It was my understanding that the Surge was bringing forth two individuals that were willing to go underneath our processes for justice. by all means, you are not a citizen of 𝐤𝐤𝐤. While we would expect you to follow through with our laws, this matter does not require for you to be subject to such things if you do not volunteer for it.
Okay. I just wanted to be clear to let you know that I voluntarily stand by him and he has my support.
So you do wish to continue on with the trial then?
Yes.
Very good. And so this is not something that will affect 𝐿demir at all, which means that these roles he will automatically succeed in because he is not affected by fear-based things or charm-based things. So for Mihail, the first question that they're going to ask you is where you were when you came across Gabriella.
We were in the woods searching for her.
All right, and so give me a roll. All right, with a 22, that is a success. Then they will ask you, what were you doing in the woods?
I was searching for her.
All right, give me a roll. And that is a critical one.
Like I'm not lying here. We went to the woods to find her.
I like how the answer to the second question is the answer to the first question. And
Okay,
all of
so-
your answers are excessively vague. How did she die?
That
She lost
too.
her head. How did the soldier die? Of his wounds.
I specifically
Where would
said
leave
I
the body?
was told he
Yeah,
died
we
of
left it.
burns.
Where we left it.
But
True.
with that critical,
Mm-hmm.
can I do something with the illusions that of the memories that I'm seeing?
Sure. What would you like to try to do?
I want to show the battlefield that I saw
Oh,
of her
okay.
soldiers that she led to slaughter,
Okay.
and kind of get the impression that that's who we're looking for. That's who we were looking for out there.
Okay. So in you doing that, you actually subtly change the direction of their questioning, and they ask you to fully describe the battlefield and the losses that you experienced.
I don't think you ever gave me specific numbers, but I will do so.
No, I did. So you seen the specific numbers of the people that were sprawled out. Their weapons were not within the vicinity of their persons. The dead were scattered. There were some Fukari that were gone. But I want you to kind of explain like the emotional upheaval that you had in seeing the sight of your fellow brothers and sisters and brethren that were led to their slaughter.
Okay. When I came across the battlefield and I'd found Gabriella's platoon stripped of their weapons and evidence of a dire defense to try and survive the ambush she led them into, and few Vukari dead around them, there wasn't much I could do to have pity on her as a traitor for what she did, killing all those Stygians for no reason other than for power,
Mm-hmm.
and try and usurp what I believe the Ninth Council and the Archon for the Vukari.
All right, roll me a check. And that is a
Nice.
success with a 25, which
Yes.
will lead us into the third and final trial, the trial of suffering. So you guys will have everything lift up from this experience. You can see that Karina's a little confused. Like, she recognizes that the question she asked wasn't the question that she wanted to ask, but she's had her 3 questions for the trial, and so she has to move forward on to the next one. And with this one, you guys will have a ball of absolute darkness that will fall down over the top of you. In this one, you are able to roll strength, you can roll wisdom, or you can roll dexterity, or you can roll intellect. And in it, you will feel a piercing pain coming in from the darkness that is striking your body while you are trying to answer the questions.
Are
This is
these the
some
things that
fucked
Eric,
up trials, man.
we just had to answer stupid questions. Is this the one that 𝐿 has like doesn't he have like automatic success on some physical trials and things like that?
His physical stuff's all primary, so he has a pretty good chance of it. I don't know if it's
It was like climbing and stuff like that. He auto succeeds, right?
Yeah. If he's like climbing or running distances or things like that, but not necessarily taking like the psychological damage from physical stuff.
Okay.
All right. So first question that is going to be presented to you. They want to know, what was it that Gabriella told you that Volos told her?
I believe it was something about a necessary sacrifice to weaken 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐼𝐻 so the 𝐵ukari can take it for Volos.
And what is your answer, 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐼𝐻?
I think that's right.
What I heard her saying is she was crazy and that she wanted to kill a bunch of her own people, weaken her defenses, and she willingly ripped the weapons out of her men's hands so that they could die to your enemy, and willingly destroyed a good portion of your army, and then was some plot with her husband to harm other members on the council. So, yeah, I believe that's what she said.
All right, give me a roll.
I love 𝐿𝐴𝐻.
I know, right?
Right?
So much.
Yes.
2 successes with a 13 and an 18. The next question will be, do you ever feel inspired by your deity to do something in order to bring them glory?
The glory I seek is in defending the 𝐸𝐻𝐻𝑖ans of 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐼𝐻.
And 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐼𝐻?
I feel like I've been called to treat my body like a temple, and I've worked really hard on my pecs.
And roll me a roll.
Oh no!
Oh no, your pecs!
Oh my god.
I have a lot of work to go on my pecs.
𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐼𝐻 has a fail with that answer, a critical fail. Sir Mihail does succeed with a 13. And the last and final question comes from the Archon. He interrupts Karina, and he says, tell me more of this assault that occurred on the Ninth Council and all that you know.
You're talking about the ambush during the festival, right?
Mm-hmm. And all that you know in relation to it.
Okay, so if I remember correctly, we were right around here, I believe. And during the fight, Nemeth had been distracted by a 𝐵ukari, and Goran had come up behind him to try and stab him in the back. I had used 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐼𝐻 to sway the blade to miss, at which point Nemeth noticed the betrayal, and young Master Benjamin there leapt across the field to Nemeth's aid.
Okay. And 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐼𝐻, what do you want to share that you know?
Well, I was busy running towards a bridge to try to clear a way for the people to get out and be safe. But in hearing the account from the others was that the gentleman, I don't know names, people, I'm not from here, came and was going to stab the guy in the back. He was alive after the battle. I think they had words or something afterwards, and someone else came to help. But it was striking to hear that. But then when we heard his wife talk about how that was, they were together and they were doing this in some strange plan to help your people by getting them slaughtered by the 𝐵ukari, that's enough to me to know this is crazy.
All right, roll me checks. And those are both successes with 17s. So we only had one fail on either side for these questions. The darkness will lift up. Karina's face is beet red. She does not look very happy. You see Kel nodding slightly in admission to hearing your accounts and not seeing much fault in them. He is making eyes with the Archon across the way. 𝐥𝐢𝐤𝐞 seems to sigh a breath of relief, and you have the Archon, before Karina could even speak, raise his hand to step up between the Ninth Council and yourselves. He'll say, so it seems to me that not only did you protect Karina's brother, but you also ensured that the people of the 𝐿rheim were safe, and I imagine that your actions have continued to do the same. You brought evidence then of Gabriella's demise?
Yeah. I'll pull a bag off my belt and, I don't know, is there a table or something I can set this on?
No, but you can just drop it on the ground if you like. Pull it out and roll.
You should toss it to Karina. Toss it towards her.
Yeah, I'll just pull the head out of the bag and toss it in front of the group.
Okay. So he will look at it as it rolls across in front of him, and he will step past it and question again. He goes, now there to me, Sir Master Spellini, I have no need for you to respond to my final question. And he will move his eyes to Mihail. Where is your allegiance to the Ninth Council, to Volos, and to the future of the 𝐿rheim?
I'm going to look him dead in the eye, say my allegiance is to 𝐿rheim and the Stygian people. Regardless of who runs the city, I will defend its people to my dying breath. If Volos is the one who you decide needs to be worshipped, then I can accept that. My first and foremost obligation is Stygian life, and to protect it from the Vucari.
I hope you are well aware that I have made that decision. And the Imperial family, and he'll kind of gesture just slightly looking over his head at his son, will continue to see that Volos is worshipped for 1,000 years and more.
If that is your wish, Archon, then I will live with that. And I'll give him a bow.
Roll me a charisma.
And is he wanting me to answer, or he said he doesn't want me to?
He says he doesn't need you to. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And with a 24, Sir Mihail, that is a successful interaction with the Archon of the city. And I am now turning it back over to the group as he will excuse you from the night to carry on your way. How does the group want to conclude this session? Anything else you guys want to do or come together before we wrap it up?
As Dawn and I would have finished, I'd have just told Dawn, I'm heading to the tavern. Feel free to join me if you wish.
Yeah, I think Dawn will. Given the day's events, it was a trial.
But it's been a hell of a 24 hours.
It's a trial.
Yeah.
Get it?
Mihail's gonna look at Eretmir and be like, "You want a drink? I need a drink."
and he'll be like, "Hold on one second," and he's gonna look because in the Ninth Council was Andre there?
He is not.
No.
It was just the three that were here.
Okay, because it wasn't Andre. Okay, yeah. So it was like I didn't see my drinking partner. Let's go. Maybe we can find him on the way. I heard there was a couple other healers that are on their last leg got retired. I think they might become drinking partners too. They'll hand you the bottle of wine again and let you have a little more.
At this point,
Is what?
are we afternoon, evening? What time of day is it?
I imagine it's late afternoon at best.
Okay. Before leaving with Eretmir, I will say to Gavrael that I figure we'll probably need to meet in the morning to discuss the defense of the city going forward.
Okay. And Eretmir still has a dragon to go skin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can't drink.
Why not? Everyone's
No.
better at skinning when they're drunk.
I want to get this
Somebody
done.
has gone into the
Plus-
stables to go check on their bowl.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah, Erdemir's gonna go. He does want to get the skinning done. You know, he wants to do a good job. Plus, I do have a question. Is there anything that he can make with like some of the skin, as far as since it is poisonous, to them that he can make something as even a poison or do something with it. He's also you people are crazy. Okay, he has seen some crazy stuff here, and he wants whatever advantage he needs.
And he's not even talking about the magic. This is just their personalities.
Right.
Yeah.
I will get back with you.
That's fine.
On what we can do with that if you want to make something, because there will be skin left over. So that's
And he might even look at trying to get the end of the tail off to make a cod piece, even if he has to wait till he goes home to show it off. But he would probably look at that too.
Eric Mirror of the Golden Dong.
And he's got to work on his pecs.
Faramir, you think you could make me one of those bone daggers?
So I did think I gave you a tooth. I took out one of the teeth when we killed it.
Yeah. But that bone dagger that Dorothy had is kind of sick. I'm curious if you could make me one.
I can try.
He's only got a couple days left in there, Hein.
I'll start whittling.
And then he's never coming back.
I just love the idea.
No, he'll come back with an army.
I just love the idea of someone coming in there to check on their bull. And you got a dragon whose center head has been beheaded. The bull's castrated and its neck is cut.
But there's no blood anywhere.
Yeah, there's no blood anywhere. Oh, man.
It's 𝐸𝐤𝐤. Shit gets weird.
Yeah, they just walk in, see
really
that, and it goes. Another day in Anaheim. Yeah.
All right, well, that's what we have for you guys tonight for Dungeon Brew and the episode of the 9th Ascension. So join us next time for our 8th episode, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for the short rest. Talk to y'all. Oh, well, we got to do like the whole like spiel. Anybody want to do the spiel? Do I have to do the spiel? Click things, like things.
Subscribe things.
Yeah. Those things.
Yeah. Click, like, subscribe, comment.
Yeah.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
In the realm of 𝐸𝐤𝐤, nestled within the expansive tapestry of thrice 9 lands, the Gilded Age is coming to an end. In the coastal city of 𝐸𝐤𝐤, ageless 𝐩𝐤𝐤s, devout to the frozen witch, harness the power to wield the same energy that stitches together reality. Yet winds of change whisper the name of Volos, the Horned God. The 9th Council rises, and our heroes, staunch Carrion loyalists, embark on expeditions to safeguard 𝐩𝐤𝐤 history while defending against their wicked enemies. The celestial dance of Margina's worshippers is disrupted by the growing shadow of Volos, and the imminent clash between the Carrion and 9th Councils threatens to reshape the very fabric of 𝐸𝐤𝐤. Amidst this turmoil, our heroes navigate treacherous landscapes, from the frozen wastes where dragons roam to the hidden conclaves of the bloodthirsty skin switches. Each expedition reveals fragments of a forgotten past, hidden truths, and the intricate connections between 𝐸𝐤𝐤 magic and the divine realms. As the 𝐸𝐤𝐤s grapple with the choice between allegiance to Margina or Volos, loyalty becomes a precious commodity. Our Carrion heroes, entrusted with preserving 𝐸𝐤𝐤 heritage, face moral dilemmas, forge unlikely alliances, and confront the shadows that lurk within their own ranks. The world of 𝐸𝐤𝐤 awaits, a canvas painted with hues of enchantment and conflict. Will our heroes unravel the secrets that bind thrice 9 lands, or will they succumb to the inevitable tide of a revolution? Brace yourself for an epic, episodic tale, where every choice resonates across the realms, shaping the destiny of 𝐸𝐤𝐤 itself.
I'm actually kind of excited because you guys are split differently than I thought you would be, so this will be very intriguing.
Yeah, I that's a pretty neat that we ended up just happening to split up in that way, and not like all 4 of us hanging out until the Surtur showed up or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
No
I do think
offense, but
go ahead.
Eretmir is not the one I wanted to bring to the.
No, because Eretmir specifically tried to avoid having anything to do with it, and was like, I'm going to go in the bushes so I don't have to answer questions about this.
Yeah, his story is going to be, I walked off to a tree.